Hey, I'm really glad you dropped in today. Before we begin, let's linger here for just a moment longer than feels efficient. Not because there's nothing to say, but because something important happens in pauses. If you're here, truly here, not scrolling out of boredom or habit, but because something in you felt a quiet tug, then this moment matters. Not every pull announces itself. Some arrive as curiosity without explanation. Some arrive as a sense of familiarity you can't place. Some arrive as relief, like finally exhaling after holding your breath without realizing it. And I want you to know what you'll carry with you if you stay. Not certainty, not doctrine, not a new identity to perform or defend. What you'll leave with is clarity, language for experiences that lived in your body long before they lived in your mind. A softer, more trusting relationship with your intuition. And perhaps the most meaningful gift of all, permission. Permission to trust what has already been moving through you, nudging you, whispering beneath the surface of your everyday life. This is not a lecture. It's a shared space, a conversation that unfolds without pressure. No one here is trying to convince you of anything. Imagine we're sitting together, maybe near a window, the light low and warm, tea growing cold because neither of us feels the need to rush. A candle flickers, not for ceremony, but for presence. The world quiets just enough to allow something honest to be heard. And I want to ask you something gently without expectation. Have you ever noticed that after practicing witchcraft, or even brushing up against it briefly, something inside you shifted? Not loudly, not violently, but quietly, permanently. The kind of opening that doesn't demand attention, yet subtly rearranges how you see yourself, how you experience time, how you listen to your inner voice. The kind that doesn't close again, even if you try to return to who you were before. Today we're exploring why so many people experience spiritual awakening after practicing witchcraft. Not through fear-based narratives, not through fantasy or dramatization, but through history, science, spirituality, and lived human experience. If you felt this shift, you're not alone. And if you're here out of curiosity, hear this with clarity and kindness. You didn't stumble into this conversation. You arrived. Before witchcraft was misunderstood, it was woven into life so seamlessly it didn't need a name. Before it was feared, it was familiar. Before it was pushed into shadows, it lived openly in kitchens, fields, birth rooms, and healing circles. For most of human history, what we now call witchcraft was simply how people related to the world. It was how they listened to the land, how they read the sky, how they understood their bodies and emotions as part of a larger rhythm rather than something separate that needed controlling. The moon wasn't watched because it was mysterious. It was watched because it mattered. Tides responded to it. Crops responded to it. Human bodies responded to it. Emotions followed its cycles long before language tried to explain them away. People spoke intentions over water not as superstition, but as knowing. Words shape the nervous system. Water holds memory. The body listens. Herbs were gathered not symbolically, but practically. They healed burns, eased pain, settled stomachs, calmed nerves. Protection spells were spoken because life was uncertain. Fertility rituals existed because survival depended on birth. Luck was invited because hope needed a place to land when control was limited. There was no separation between spiritual practice and practical living. No hierarchy of sacred versus ordinary. No performance, no audience. Magic wasn't something you did. It was a relationship you lived inside. Awakening, then, was not a dramatic rupture. It was gradual, like dawn arriving without fanfare. At first, the light shifts so subtly you barely notice. And then suddenly, the world is visible in a way it wasn't before. So when people today feel something awaken after practicing witchcraft, they're not encountering something new. They're remembering something old. Something ancestral, carried through bloodlines and bones. Something cellular, stored in the nervous system. Something that recognizes rhythm before belief ever forms. Have you ever felt that sensation? Like your body knew what to do before your mind could explain it. Like your hands moved with a confidence your thoughts hadn't caught up to yet? This is where the quiet shift begins. Witchcraft doesn't demand belief. It doesn't ask for certainty or loyalty. It doesn't require you to abandon logic or embrace fantasy. What it asks for is something far more disruptive. It asks for attention. And attention changes everything. When you light a candle with intention, you interrupt unconscious movement. When you speak words aloud with purpose, your nervous system responds, even if your rational mind resists. When you track the moon, you stop experiencing time as something chasing you and begin experiencing it as something that breathes. Pressure softens. Urgency loosens. Listening becomes as valuable as action. This is where awakening often begins. Not with visions or signs that demand interpretation. Not with dramatic revelations, but with awareness. You begin noticing your thoughts instead of being overtaken by them. You feel emotions as information rather than obstacles. You sense energy, subtle shifts, internal responses you once dismissed. You start recognizing alignment, and just as importantly, misalignment. And once that awareness wakes up, it doesn't go back to sleep, even if you wish it would sometimes. So let me ask you softly, when this awareness began for you, did it arrive like a wave or like a slow tide that never quite receded? Science rarely speaks in poetic language, but it understands ritual deeply. Ritual creates predictability for the nervous system. It signals safety. It organizes attention. When intentional actions are repeated, neural pathways strengthen. When meaning is assigned to symbols, the subconscious responds. When breath slows and senses engage, the body shifts out of survival and into presence. These effects are measurable, observable, documented, and witchcraft, by its nature, incorporates these elements without needing scientific validation. Intentional movement, sensory engagement, symbolism, repetition, rhythm. Together, these practices alter brain states. They increase emotional regulation, intuition, internal awareness, and psychological integration. In therapeutic language, this is coherence. In spiritual language, it feels like awakening. Different vocabularies, same human experience. Isn't it curious how the mystical and the measurable keep meeting in quiet, undeniable ways? Spiritually, witchcraft does not grant power. It removes the illusion that power was ever elsewhere. Many awakenings occur because witchcraft eliminates intermediaries. There is no hierarchy to climb, no doctrine to earn your place within, no authority standing between you and your own experience. You commune directly, with nature, with intuition, with unseen currents, with yourself. That direct relationship awakens something dormant but familiar. A sense of sovereignty, a sense of inner authority, a sense of belonging, not as something granted, but as something remembered. For some, this feels like returning home after wandering for years without realizing you were lost. For others, it's disorienting, like discovering the walls you leaned on were never load-bearing to begin with. Both are part of awakening. Both are valid. Did your awakening feel like relief, like confusion, or like a pendulum swinging between the two? Awakening isn't always gentle. Sometimes it's precise. Witchcraft illuminates what has been hidden, not out of cruelty, but out of necessity. When you engage intentionally with energy, emotion, and symbolism, unresolved beliefs surface. Old wounds ask for acknowledgement. Patterns you once rationalized become visible. This isn't because witchcraft creates chaos. It's because clarity dissolves illusion. And awakening often begins with truth. Truth about who you are. Truth about what you've accepted. Truth about what no longer fits the shape of your becoming. That intensity is not failure. It's not danger. It's not punishment. It's honesty. Have you noticed shifts in what you tolerate, what you crave, or what you can no longer ignore since beginning this path? Ritual does not need complexity to be effective. Often, simplicity is what allows truth to surface. Working with awakening means grounding it, allowing it to integrate rather than overwhelm, listening rather than forcing transformation, creating space instead of chasing experiences, lighting a candle not to demand answers, but to sit with a question, journaling with lunar cycles to witness emotional patterns without judgment, grounding through water, breath, or earth to remind the body it is safe to expand. The foundation is always intention paired with presence, not control, not perfection. Ritual becomes a dialogue between your inner world and the greater one, a living conversation that matures as you do. What practices make you feel most settled inside yourself? We live in an age of disconnection from nature, from intuition, from inner rhythm, from meaning. Awakening through witchcraft restores what has been stripped away. It reminds us we are cyclical beings, not machines. That rest is productive. That intuition is intelligent. That listening is not passive. This awakening doesn't pull you out of life. It roots you more deeply within it. You become more aware, more compassionate, more aligned with what genuinely matters to you. And perhaps most importantly, it returns authority to the individual heart. That matters, especially now. If you've experienced awakening through witchcraft, or even felt its earliest stirrings, let this land gently. You're not strange. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're remembering. And remembrance has always been one of the most ancient forms of healing. We will keep diving deeper on this and many other topics, but for now, I hope this brought you some peace. If this message resonates, share your thoughts in the comments and join our growing community of healing hearts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Someone you know may need this today. If you enjoy this channel, you may also love my other channels where I share more on personal growth by Joelle Crum, findings and guided meditations, soul script affirmations, and signs of the universe, a detailed guide. You can check it out, the links in the description. And if these journeys have brought a little inspiration to your day, and you ever feel moved to support the work, there's a donation link in the description. Your kindness helps keep the music playing and the stories flowing, but simply being here and sharing the space is already a gift. Thank you for walking this path with me.